What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Around the Clock. For those who are new to the channel, my name is John, and my personal goal is to own, experience, and modify as many unique cars as possible. So today's video, we're going to be picking up where the last one left off. And if you didn't get a chance to see the last video, that's okay. Basically, we had just installed a third brake light delete panel on my 2006 Porsche Carrera 997.1. After installing it, I did run into a couple issues. The panel didn't quite fit right on the car. I wasn't able to open the engine part to access. I don't know if you call that a hood or a trunk, because the engine's back there, I guess, and you know, the trunk is up front, right? But I couldn't open up the part to access the engine. And then also I noticed that the color of the panel was slightly off than the rest of the car. So let's go ahead and jump into the update and let me show you what has happened since then. All right, guys, there she is, looking beautiful as ever. I apologize for the wind. It's a very windy day today. But basically where things last left off is we installed this panel right here. Now, for those who aren't familiar with what this is and why I installed it, so from the factory, the third brake light, the upper third brake light is normally right here. But since this car has a GT3 RS style deck lid and wing, the third brake light is here. So instead I wired that up, and instead of having a third brake light here and there, I decided to delete that panel. And I deleted it with this piece here, and it's actually a factory piece. So the way that it mounts to the car is the same way that the OEM third brake light mounts, where basically there are two nuts, 10mm nuts here, and then underneath here there are 3 bolts. Now, after I installed this, basically this was not sitting very flush with like the rest of the car, not only with the deck lid, but like the gap was super tight. And then the issue is I wasn't able to open up the engine compartment. But now it's all fixed. I took it to my good friend Matt Pratt with Top Coat Garage. He does amazing work out there. And basically what he determined is I'm an idiot. So basically, as I mentioned, to mount this piece to the car, there are 2 10mm nuts inside the car, and then there are 3 bolts here. And what I didn't realize is when the person sent me this panel and I bought it from them, he included the nuts, but they were already on there and they were tightened. So what happened is when I went to put this on the car, those nuts were on there. And then in addition to that, I put the nuts from my original one on here. So that's why it sat kind of high and didn't sit right and had a very strange gap. So once he removed the nuts that were already on there, it popped right in and sat super flush. As I mentioned, there was an issue where like this panel was like a shade darker than this, even though it is, you know, Porsche Arctic Silver Metallic. Even though I bought it and it was the same color, it didn't quite line up, and that bothered me. So I had that painted. And also while he had it, I had a couple small cosmetic things addressed with it as well. So while he had the car, for those who don't know, I added this color match center console. And when I got it, there were some pieces that I had to transfer from my OEM console to this one, and they were still black. So this piece right here, and then this piece right here was actually black. And whatever the material is that it's made out of, unfortunately, it mars up very easily, and it's not very good looking. So while I was in the shop, I had that painted, and I also had this piece painted. And I think it really kind of completes the interior of the car. Now, one of the last things that I had Matt do while he had it was I wanted to add some color to the calipers. Now, you know, the calipers were fine, but they were black and worn and just looked like they needed a refresh. So while it was there, I actually had them painted gold. And I think that looks absolutely amazing. It's like a gold metallic. And here in the shade, it does look a bit dark. But when the light hits it, you can see all the metallic flake and it brightens up. Because initially I told Matt that I wanted the caliper to match the BBS logo. But it was kind of tough to match it because if the light is not on it, you know, it matches better with like a different one, and then if the light's on it, it's like a different shade. But I think that this looks awesome, and I think it contrasts really, really well on the 911. And as you can see back here, I also did the brake caliper back there. The rotors look great, and overall I think it did an amazing job complementing just the rest of the accents on the car. Now, nothing else on this car is gold, so that's why I think it really stands out. If anything, it just flows with the center caps of the BBS logo, and I think that it really, really looks good on the car. So let me know what you guys think. Personally, I love it. I like to do stuff that's different. A lot of the times people kind of do the same color in calipers, like red or black, but I just kind of wanted to do something different. But that is pretty much the updates on the car. And, you know, let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you think it stands. Personally, I think it looks absolutely amazing with all these kind of like final touches. Just want to give you a walk around so you can see. Also, I did add these. So I probably have like 5 sets of side markers because I was so indecisive. But after doing the Morimoto XB headlights and the Morimoto XB taillights, I decided to do the Morimoto side markers as well. And initially I wanted to kind of keep everything uniform, but I will say that the smoked finish on the side markers really kind of flows well with the gunmetal, you know, on the wheels, and then you also have carbon and darker accents throughout the rest of the car. So that's why I personally think that everything flows together very well. And that is pretty much it. I mean, guys, this is how the car is going to sit. I mean, at this time, I have no further plans for the car. This is how it's going to be. So those were pretty much the last final details that I wanted to do to kind of button up the aesthetics of the car. Now I can confidently say that I am extremely happy with the way the car sits as a whole. But the last thing I wanted to leave you guys with is this car is actually sold. Now, as you know, I love to make aesthetic changes to cars. The modifying process is what I enjoy the most, and kind of creating something aesthetically that stands apart from the rest. And, you know, as the car was in the shop getting everything buttoned up, I did decide to list the car just to kind of see what kind of interest I would get, whether it be a unique trade that I've never owned before or a cash offer. And actually someone who has been following my social media and also follows the YouTube channel reached out to me and ended up buying the car. So what I'm gonna do in the next video is pretty much start preparing the car and getting it ready for the next owner. And I'll go over all of those details. But honestly, I am pretty sad with this car because I didn't even really get a chance to drive it around and enjoy it completed. But you know what? I'm a firm believer that everything else happens for a reason. And I'm actually kind of excited, especially because I just started this YouTube channel. And oddly enough, I thought that this was the car I was going to be hanging on to for a while. But, you know, someone made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. So it's going to be going to a new buyer here shortly. But stay tuned for the next video where I will start to prepare everything and get it ready. And then the fun part begins on finding the replacement. So until the next episode, I'll see you later.